Before the story begins, if you love emotional Afro-Korean dramas filled with shocking twists, secret love, heartbreak, and unforgettable endings, make sure you subscribe, like this video, and comment where you're watching from. You won't believe what happened when a billionaire fell in love with a poor girl who barely noticed he existed. Stay until the end because this story takes a turn nobody saw coming. Stop! Please stop! Nokuthula grabbed her younger brother's arm and pulled him behind her as a speeding motorcycle nearly hit them. The rider cursed and disappeared into traffic. Her heart pounded. Tabo shook his head. "I'm sorry, sis." Nokuthula forced a smile. "It's okay. Just be careful next time." Neither of them noticed the black luxury car parked across the street. Inside, Song Kang watched everything. The moment the motorcycle came close to hitting Nokuthula, his body had tensed. His driver noticed. "Sir, should I do something?" Song Kang looked away. No, but his eyes returned to her, again. For months, he had been finding excuses to pass through this neighborhood. For months, he had been watching the same woman, not because she was glamorous, not because she was famous, because she was different. Everyone treated him like a billionaire. Nokuthula treated him like a human being. The funny thing was that she didn't even know who he really was. A week earlier, they had met at a community center sponsored by his company. Song Kang had arrived without bodyguards, without expensive suits, without revealing his identity. He wanted a break from his life. Then he met her, and everything changed. Back at the community center, Nokuthula was organizing donated books when Song Kang approached. "Need help?" She looked up. "You again?" Song Kang smiled. "Is that a bad thing?" "Depends. On what? Whether you're actually helping or pretending to help." He laughed. Nobody spoke to him like that. Nobody. She handed him a box. "Carry this." He nearly dropped it. She burst into laughter. "Wow, you're weaker than you look." Song Kang shook his head. "I wasn't prepared." "Prepared for what?" "Prepared for what?" "For manual labor." She laughed even harder. From that moment, he was hooked. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. The more Song Kang learned about Nokuthula, the more he admired her. She worked at a restaurant during the day, cleaned offices at night, sent most of her earnings to support Thabo. Yet she never complained. One evening, she found him sitting outside the community center. "Why are you here alone?" Song Kang shrugged. "Thinking. About what?" "Life." Nokuthula sat beside him. "Life is simple." He laughed. "Simple?" "Yes." "How?" She pointed at the sky. "Wake up. Work hard. Help people. Protect the people you love." Song Kang stared at her. For her, life really was that simple. For him, life was contracts, shareholders, board meetings, and endless pressure. "You're lucky," she said. He almost laughed. "Lucky? If only she knew." "What makes you think that?" he asked. "You don't seem worried about money." He looked away. "No. Must be nice." The words stayed with him long after she left. The next morning, Song Kang learned that Nokuthula was 3 months behind on rent. He immediately called his assistant. "Take care of it." "Sir?" "The landlord." "You want the property purchased?" "No." His assistant sounded confused. "Then what?" "Pay the rent anonymously." The assistant blinked. "Again?" Song Kang ended the call. A few days later, Nokuthula received a notice. Her rent had been paid. She stared at the paper. "This has to be a mistake." The landlord smiled. "No mistake. But who paid it?" "I don't know." For the first time in weeks, she cried. Not from sadness, from relief. That evening she told Song Kang, "I think a miracle happened." He pretended not to know. "Really? My rent was paid." "That's amazing." She smiled. "It is." Seeing her happy felt strangely addictive. Then another problem appeared. Thabo became sick. The hospital bills kept growing. Nokuthula worked overtime. She skipped meals. She sold personal belongings. Still, It wasn't enough. One afternoon, she sat in the hospital hallway crying quietly. Song Kang arrived moments later. "Nakuthula?" She quickly wiped her tears. "I'm okay." "No, you're not." Her voice broke. "I'm trying." Song Kang sat beside her. "What happened?" "The doctors need more money." "How much?" She told him. His expression didn't change. To him, it was a small amount. To her, it was impossible. "I'll figure something out." Song Kang looked at her trembling hands. "You shouldn't have to do everything alone." Nakuthula smiled sadly. "Sometimes you don't get a choice." That night, Song Kang paid every hospital bill. The next morning, the doctor approached Nakuthula. "Good news." "What happened?" "The balance has been cleared." She froze. "What?" "The bill has been paid." Nakuthula couldn't believe it. Again. Another miracle. Meanwhile, Song Kang watched from a distance. His assistant sighed. "Sir, why don't you just tell her?" Song Kang shook his head. "No, you're doing everything for her." "I know. Then why hide?" Because he was terrified. Terrified that once Nakuthula learned the truth, she would stop seeing him as Song Kang and start seeing him as a billionaire. Unfortunately, another man was already beginning to capture her attention. A man named Choi Ji-hoon, successful, charming, confident, everything Song Kang pretended not to be. The first time Song Kang saw them laughing together outside a cafe, his stomach dropped. Ji-hoon handed Nakuthula flowers. She smiled. And for the first time in months, Song Kang felt something dangerous. Jealousy. What he didn't know was that Ji-hoon wasn't interested in Nakuthula because of love. He had his own plans. And those plans were about to change all of their lives forever. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and comment below. Do you think Nakuthula will ever discover Song Kang's secret? Because what happens next will leave everyone shocked. The moment Song Kang saw Nakuthula smiling at Choi Ji-hoon, something twisted inside him. He hated the feeling. For years, he had negotiated billion-dollar deals without losing his composure. Yet one smile from Nakuthula directed at another man was enough to ruin his entire day. His assistant noticed immediately. "Sir, are you okay?" "I'm fine." "You don't look fine." Song Kang looked through the restaurant window again. Ji-hoon was making Nakuthula laugh, and she looked happy, painfully happy. "Cancel my afternoon meetings." His assistant almost dropped his tablet. "All of them?" "All of them." Meanwhile, inside the restaurant, Nakuthula had no idea she was being watched. Ji-hoon leaned forward. "You work too hard." Nakuthula laughed. "Everyone says that. Because it's true. I have responsibilities." "Your brother?" She nodded. "He's my family." Ji-hoon smiled warmly. "You're a good person." The compliment made her blush slightly. For the first time in a long time, someone seemed genuinely interested in her life. Or so she thought. What she didn't know was that Ji-hoon had spent weeks researching her. Not because he cared. Because he had recently discovered something shocking. The woman he was pursuing happened to be very close to Song Kang. And Song Kang was his biggest obstacle in business. A few days later, Nakuthula arrived at the community center carrying supplies. Song Kang was already there. The moment he saw her, his face softened. Then he noticed the flowers in her hands. His heart sank. "Those are beautiful." Nakuthula smiled. "Aren't they?" "Who gave them to you?" She hesitated. Ji-hoon. The name felt like a punch. "Oh!" She studied his face. "Are you okay?" "Why wouldn't I be?" "You suddenly look upset." Song Kang forced a smile. "I'm not." Nakuthula narrowed her eyes. "You know you're terrible at lying, right?" For a moment, he almost confessed everything. Almost. Instead, he looked away. "I should get back to work." She watched him leave. Something felt strange. Very strange. That night, Song Kang sat alone in his penthouse, staring at the city lights. His grandfather entered the room. The old man rarely visited unexpectedly. "You're distracted," Song Kang sighed. "You always know. Who is she?" Song Kang nearly choked on his drink. His grandfather laughed. "So there is a woman. It's complicated. Love is always complicated." Song Kang shook his head. "She doesn't know who I am." His grandfather became interested. "That's unusual. She treats me like a normal person." The old man smiled. "That's why you love her." Song Kang didn't answer, because it was true. A week later, disaster struck. The restaurant where Nokuthula worked announced layoffs. Half the staff would be dismissed. When Nokuthula received the news, panic flooded her chest. She immediately thought of rent, hospital expenses, food, Sabo. Everything depended on that income. That evening, she sat alone outside the building. Song Kang found her there. "What happened?" She forced a smile. "Nothing." He sat beside her. "Nokuthula." Her eyes filled with tears. "I lost my job." The words finally escaped. "I don't know what to do." Song Kang's chest tightened. "Hey!" She looked away. "I was finally getting ahead." "No." "What?" "You were surviving." The tears started falling. "I'm tired." Those two words shattered him. "I'm so tired." Without thinking, Song Kang reached for her hand. "It's going to be okay." She stared at him. For several seconds, neither spoke. The moment felt different. Closer. Dangerously close. Then her phone rang. The spell broke. She checked the screen. Ji-hoon. Song Kang immediately withdrew his hand. "Answer it." Nokuthula hesitated. Then she answered. Ji-hoon's cheerful voice came through. "I have good news." "What happened?" "I found a job opportunity for you." Her eyes widened. "Really? Meet me tomorrow." The call ended. Excitement replaced her sadness. Song Kang forced himself to smile. "That's great." But inside, his heart was breaking. The next day, Ji-hoon introduced Nokuthula to a company offering administrative work. The salary was nearly double her previous job. She couldn't believe it. "This is amazing." Ji-hoon smiled. "I told you I'd help." "Thank you." "No need." But privately, Ji-hoon had another motive. He wanted Nokuthula to trust him completely. The deeper her trust became, the easier his plan would be. Weeks passed. Nokuthula and Ji-hoon spent more time together. Song Kang watched helplessly. His assistant finally lost patience. "Sir, you're making a mistake." "What do you mean?" "You love her." Song Kang remained silent. "Tell her." "No." "Why?" "Because if she rejects me, I lose her completely." His assistant sighed. "And if you never tell her?" Song Kang looked toward the window. "I still get to see her." Unfortunately, fate had other plans. One evening, Thabo returned home looking nervous. Nokuthula noticed immediately. "What's wrong?" "Nothing." "Thabo." The teenager avoided eye contact. Her stomach tightened. "What happened?" After several minutes, he finally spoke. "I borrowed money." Silence. Nokuthula stared at him. "You what?" His voice trembled. "I thought I could make more." "From who?" Thabo hesitated. That hesitation terrified her. "From who?" "Thabo." He finally revealed the truth. The money had come from dangerous loan sharks. Nokuthula's face went pale. "Tell me you paid it back." Thabo couldn't answer. Her heart dropped. "Thabo, I lost it." The room spun. "How much do you owe?" When he told her the amount, she nearly collapsed. It was impossible. Completely impossible. The next morning, men appeared outside their apartment building, watching, waiting, following. Nokuthula immediately knew who they were. Fear entered her life. For days, she tried everything. Banks refused her. Friends couldn't help. Employers ignored her. Even Ji-hoon seemed strangely unavailable. Every call went unanswered. Every message ignored. Then came the worst day of all. Tabo disappeared. Nokuthula called him repeatedly. No answer. She searched everywhere. Nothing. Then her phone rang. An unfamiliar number. Her hands trembled as she answered. A cold voice spoke. "We have your brother." The world stopped. Nokuthula nearly dropped the phone. "What? If you want to see him alive again, bring the money." Tears streamed down her face. "I don't have it." "Then say goodbye." The line went dead. For several seconds, she couldn't breathe. Then she did the only thing she could think of. She called Ji-hoon. No answer. Again. No answer. Again. No answer. Again. Nothing. The man she trusted had vanished. Desperate, terrified, and completely alone, Nokuthula sank to the ground crying. For the first time in years, she had no solution, no plan, no hope. But unknown to her, someone had just learned what happened. And the moment Song Kang heard that Tabo had been taken, the quiet man she knew disappeared. The billionaire she had never met was finally about to emerge. And when he did, everyone involved would wish they had never touched Nokuthula or her brother. If you're still watching, subscribe, like, and comment below. What would you do if you were in Song Kang's position? Because the rescue that happens next changes everything. Find him. The command left Song Kang's mouth with frightening calm. His security chief immediately nodded. Yes, sir. Within seconds, phones started ringing. Computers lit up. Teams moved into action. The atmosphere inside Song Kang's headquarters transformed completely. His assistant watched him carefully. Sir, the police? No. You want to handle this privately? I want Thabo found now. The coldness in his voice sent chills through everyone in the room. For months, Song Kang had hidden behind a friendly smile. Now the billionaire empire was awake, and it was moving for one reason. Nokuthula. Meanwhile, Nokuthula sat alone in her apartment. Her hands shook as she stared at her phone. Every second felt like torture. Every minute felt like an hour. Then someone knocked on the door. She rushed to open it. Hope flashed across her face, then disappeared. No one was there. Only an envelope. Confused, she picked it up. Inside was a photograph. Thabo. Tied to a chair, his face bruised. Nokuthula screamed. Her knees gave out beneath her. A second note slipped from the envelope. Bring the money by midnight, or he dies. The tears wouldn't stop. She immediately called Ji-hoon again. Still no answer. Again. Nothing. Again. Straight to voicemail. Please answer. Her voice broke. Please. But he never picked up. Across the city, Ji-hoon was sitting comfortably in his office. His phone vibrated repeatedly. He looked at Nokuthula's name, then silenced it. One of his associates laughed. You're really ignoring her? Ji-hoon smirked. She's no longer useful. What if Song Kang gets involved? Ji-hoon's smile disappeared. That possibility worried him. Because unlike Nokuthula, he knew exactly who Song Kang was, and he knew what happened to people who crossed him. Back in Song Kang's headquarters, information finally arrived. His security chief rushed into the room. We found Thabo. Song Kang stood instantly. Where? The address was handed to him. An abandoned warehouse, outside the city. His assistant looked relieved. We can send a team. No. The room fell silent. The security chief blinked. Sir? I'm going. That's dangerous. Song Kang's eyes hardened. So is touching someone under my protection. Nobody argued after that. An hour later, black SUVs sped through the darkness. A convoy of power. A convoy of war. Inside the lead vehicle, Song Kang stared ahead. His phone suddenly rang. Nokuthula. For a moment, he simply looked at the screen, then answered. Song Kang? The fear in her voice nearly broke him. Nokuthula. They took him. I know. Her breathing became uneven. What do I do? Song Kang closed his eyes. For months, he had wanted to tell her the truth. Now he had no choice. Listen carefully. What? I'm going to bring your brother home. Silence. You? Trust me. How? Song Kang looked at the convoy surrounding him. Because I'm not who you think I am. But he didn't say it. Not yet. The call ended. 30 minutes later, the convoy arrived. The kidnappers spotted the vehicles immediately. Confusion spread among them, then fear. The warehouse doors burst open. Elite security personnel flooded inside. The entire operation lasted less than 5 minutes. The kidnappers never stood a chance. Thabo was rescued, alive. When the security chief confirmed it, Song Kang released a breath he didn't realize he had been holding. Bring him to me. Moments later, Thabo appeared, bruised, shaken, but alive. Mr. Song? Song Kang nodded. You're safe now. The teenager stared at the dozens of bodyguards surrounding them. What is all this? Song Kang didn't answer, because another person was about to ask the same question. Nokuthula. When she received the call that Thabo had been found, she rushed to the location. The entire drive felt unreal. How had Song Kang done this? Who exactly was he? The moment she arrived, she froze. Luxury SUVs, armed security, dozens of men in black suits, people speaking into earpieces. The scene looked like something from a movie. Her eyes widened. Then she saw him, Song Kang, standing in the center. Every person around him treated him with absolute respect, absolute obedience, absolute fear. For several seconds she couldn't move. This wasn't the man she knew. This wasn't the volunteer from the community center. This wasn't the awkward friend who struggled to carry boxes. Who was this? Then Thabo ran toward her. Sis! Nokuthula immediately hugged him. Tears poured down her face. Thank God. Thabo held her tightly. I'm sorry. She kissed his forehead. You're safe. Only after several moments did she look up, straight at Song Kang. The questions in her eyes were impossible to miss. Slowly, she walked toward him. The security personnel stepped aside instantly, creating a path that only made her more confused. Finally, she stood in front of him. Neither spoke, neither moved. Then she whispered the question. Who are you? Song Kang looked away briefly. The moment he had feared for months had arrived. When he met her gaze again, there was no hiding left. My name is Song Kang. I know that. No. His voice softened. You know part of it. Nokuthula's heart pounded. What does that mean? The security chief handed her a tablet. Confused, she looked down. Then her eyes widened. Company articles, news reports, business magazines, photographs. Every headline carried the same name. Song Kang, billionaire heir. Corporate empire, one of Korea's most powerful men. Her breathing stopped. No. She looked from the screen to him, then back again. No. The truth crashed into her all at once. The volunteer, the hospital bills, the rent, the anonymous help, the miracles. Every single piece suddenly made sense. Tears filled her eyes. You lied to me. Song Kang's expression darkened. I know. For months. I know. Why? The pain in her voice hit harder than any insult ever could. Song Kang swallowed. Because I was afraid. She stared at him. Afraid of what? Afraid you'd stop seeing me. The tears finally spilled over. You should have trusted me. His heart shattered. Because she was right. Because she was right. Completely right. For months he had protected her, loved her, supported her. Yet he never trusted her with the truth. And now the woman he loved looked at him like a stranger. The worst part? He couldn't blame her. As Nokuthula stepped backward, Song Kang felt something he hadn't felt during billion-dollar negotiations, hostile takeovers, or public scandals. Fear. Not fear of losing money. Not fear of losing power. Fear of losing her. And neither of them knew that an even darker betrayal was about to surface. Because the investigation into Thabo's kidnapping had uncovered a shocking name. A name that would change everything. Choi Ji-hoon. The man Nokuthula trusted most was secretly connected to the nightmare that nearly destroyed her family. And the truth was only hours away from being exposed. If this revelation shocked you, make sure you subscribe, like the video, and comment below. Should Nokuthula forgive Song Kang for hiding his identity? Because the final chapter contains the biggest betrayal and most emotional confession of the entire story. Nokuthula barely slept. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Song Kang standing among those bodyguards. The image wouldn't leave her mind. The man she had trusted. The man she had laughed with. The man she had shared her worries with. A billionaire, one of the most powerful men in Korea, and he had hidden it all. Meanwhile, Song Kang sat alone in his penthouse. For the first time in months, he didn't know what to do. His assistant entered carefully. "Sir." Song Kang didn't respond. "We received the final report." That got his attention. The assistant placed a file on the table. "Everything has been confirmed." Song Kang opened it. His jaw tightened immediately. There it was. Proof. Messages. Transactions. Photographs. Every trail pointed to one person. Choi Ji-hoon. The room became silent. "Bring him to me." A few hours later, Nokuthula received an unexpected call. It was Song Kang. She almost ignored it. Almost. Eventually she answered. "What do you want?" "I need you to come somewhere." "I'm not interested." "Nokuthula." Something in his voice made her pause. "This is about Ji-hoon." Her heart skipped. "What about him?" "Please come." An hour later, she arrived at one of Song Kang's office buildings. The atmosphere felt tense. Security personnel stood everywhere. When she entered the conference room, her world nearly stopped. Ji-hoon was sitting at the table, his face pale, his confidence gone. Nokuthula looked between both men. Confusion flooded her expression. "What's happening?" Song Kang slid a file toward her. "Read it." She hesitated, then opened it. The first page confused her. The second page frightened her. The third page destroyed her. "No." Her hands trembled violently. "No." Every document revealed another lie. Ji-hoon had known about the loan sharks. The kindness, the job offer, everything. A setup, a calculated manipulation. Nokuthula looked at Ji-hoon. Tears filled her eyes. "Tell me this isn't true." Ji-hoon remained silent. "Tell me." Finally, he laughed bitterly. The sound shocked her, because it wasn't the voice she knew. It was the voice of a stranger. "You really never noticed?" Nokuthula felt sick. Ji-hoon shook his head. "You made everything so easy." The tears streamed down her face. "Why?" "Because Song Kang was my target." The room fell silent. Ji-hoon pointed toward Song Kang. "I wanted his company." His smile became cruel. "You were simply useful." Nokuthula's legs nearly gave out. Everything she believed shattered. Every memory became poisoned. Every smile became fake. Every promise became a lie. For several moments, she couldn't speak. Then she whispered one word. "Leave." Ji-hoon laughed. "Nokuthula, leave." The second time she said it, her voice broke. Security escorted him out. The moment the door closed, Nokuthula collapsed into a chair. Song Kang wanted to comfort her, but he didn't move. He knew she needed space. Several minutes passed before she finally spoke. "I was so stupid." "No." She laughed through tears. "I trusted him." "Because you're kind." She looked at Song Kang. The contrast suddenly became impossible to ignore. One man had pretended to care while secretly hurting her. The other had hidden his identity while secretly protecting her. Neither had been honest, but their intentions were completely different. Days passed, then weeks. Nokuthula spent that time rebuilding her life. Thabo recovered. The immediate danger disappeared. Yet something remained unresolved. Song Kang. Despite everything, she couldn't stop thinking about him. The way he listened, the way he supported her, the way he appeared whenever she needed help. And slowly, Anger began giving way to understanding. Unfortunately, fate wasn't finished testing them. Song Kang's company came under attack. A rival corporation launched a massive campaign against his empire. Stock prices fell. Investors panicked. Board members demanded drastic action. Then came the ultimatum. Song Kang's grandfather called an emergency meeting. The merger must happen. Song Kang already knew what that meant. The old man sighed. The other family wants a marriage alliance. No. You don't have a choice. I love someone else. His grandfather looked sympathetic. I know. Then help me. I can't. The words felt like a death sentence. Within days, news spread across Korea. Song Kang was expected to marry the daughter of a powerful business family. The media exploded. The internet exploded. And when Nokuthula saw the announcement, her heart shattered. For several minutes, she simply stared at the screen. Then tears rolled down her face. Only then did she finally admit the truth to herself. She loved him. She had fallen in love with Song Kang, and she was about to lose him. The engagement announcement was scheduled for the following evening. The ballroom overflowed with reporters, executives, politicians, business leaders. Cameras flashed nonstop. Song Kang stood on stage feeling completely numb. The engagement ring felt like a prison. The host approached the microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, suddenly the ballroom doors opened. Every head turned. Song Kang froze. Nokuthula. She stood at the entrance breathing heavily, as though she had run the entire way. The room erupted into whispers. Reporters immediately began filming. Nokuthula ignored all of them. Her eyes never left Song Kang. She walked straight toward the stage. His heart pounded. Nokuthula. She climbed the steps. Tears filled her eyes. Then she took the microphone. The room became silent, completely silent. Nokuthula looked directly at Song Kang. For several seconds, she couldn't speak. Then the words finally came. When I was struggling, everyone left. Tears rolled down her cheeks. Everyone except you. The audience listened in stunned silence. You protected me. Her voice shook. You believed in me. Song Kang's eyes became wet. And even when I was angry, you never stopped caring. The tears were falling freely now. Nokuthula smiled through them. You spent so long fighting for me. The room held its breath. Then came the words that changed everything. Now it's my turn to fight for you. Song Kang couldn't move, couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. Nokuthula stepped closer. I love you. The ballroom exploded. Reporters gasped. Executives exchanged shocked looks. Cameras flashed everywhere. But neither of them noticed. The world had disappeared. There was only Song Kang and Nokuthula. For the first time since meeting her, Song Kang smiled without fear, without secrets, without walls, just love. Months later, they stood together at the opening of a new foundation dedicated to helping struggling immigrant families and underprivileged children. The project carried both their names. Dabo stood beside them, smiling proudly. Life wasn't perfect, but it was real. And that was enough. The poor girl who once barely noticed him had become the woman standing proudly at his side. And the billionaire who thought money could solve everything finally learned that the greatest gift in life could never be bought. It had to be earned. And if you've made it to the end of this incredible story, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. At what moment did you realize Nokuthula truly loved Song Kang? Your support helps us bring more emotional Afro-Korean stories like this one. See you in the next unforgettable story.